Turns out the White House pressured Meta to remove COVID misinformation. There's more drama over the upcoming presidential debate, and a former Democrat endorses a former Democrat. That and more on this week's America Uncovered headlines. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Matt Gnezda, filling in today while Chris retreats to the mountains to do Kung Fu. Speaking of Kung Fu, a judge has ordered Martin Shkreli to turn over all copies of the unreleased Wu-Tang Clan album, Once Upon a Time in Shaolin. The album was recorded in secret over 6 years and comes in a special silver cover inside a special silver box. As a protest against the devaluation and digitization of music, only one copy was ever made, and it was auctioned off in 2015 to Shkreli for $2 million. Then Shkreli, who was formerly known as Pharma Bro for raising the prices on medicine, was convicted for securities fraud, and the government seized the album and sold it to cryptocurrency collective PleasrDAO for $4 million to pay off Shkreli's debts. Now, I'm not saying that listening to rap makes you a criminal, but 100% of the people who initially bought the last Wu-Tang Clan album went to prison. PleasrDAO sued Shkreli over retaining digital copies of the album and alleged he was releasing it to digital media followers, and now a judge has ordered Shkreli to turn over all copies. So now this collective will have the only copy of the rarest album on earth, which comes with an agreement not to release the music to the public until 2103. Which is a shame because, in the timeless wise words of the prophet, Old Dirty Bastard, Wu-Tang is for the children. Elon Musk has voiced support in an X post for a California bill that requires safety tests on AI models. He explains that it's a tough call and may make some people upset with him, but he believes in regulation for products and technologies that are a potential risk to the public. Many disagree with Musk, saying that US rivals like China won't throttle AI, regulation stifles innovation, and since this is a California bill, you really can't trust it because California gonna California. It's a complex issue, but not a surprising take since Musk has been in favor of AI regulation for more than 20 years. And a few months ago, he even wanted to beat up a robot, namely Mark Zuckerberg. Speaking of the Meta CEO, Zuckerberg claims the White House pressured Facebook to remove COVID misinformation during the pandemic in 2021. In a letter sent to the House Judiciary Committee, he says, "I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it. I also think we made some choices that, with the benefit of hindsight and new information, we wouldn't make today." Zuckerberg actually regretting something is notable, since he looks like he consistently tells his barber, "Make me look like a Roman emperor who watches too much Blade Runner." The Republican House Judiciary Committee tweeted that Zuckerberg admitting this is a big win for free speech, which has to hurt Zuck's feelings since they decided to post that on X and not Facebook. While this is a big story, it's not new, since we've known for a long time that the White House pressured social media sites like YouTube and even other sites like Amazon to censor COVID misinformation. But hearing it directly from the Zuck is still a pretty big deal. While misinformation is a problem, the real issue is who gets to decide what is and isn't labeled as misinformation. Fortunately, in this case, it's the White House, which can definitely always be trusted. Like when they said Joe Biden was still sharp as a tack and had no cognitive decline whatsoever, despite constantly looking like he just peered into the Ark of the Covenant. Kamala Harris finally gave her first media interview since becoming the de facto Democratic presidential nominee 41 days ago. It's a big deal since, in that same time period, Trump has given 4 major interviews, which were not even necessary since we all pretty much know where Trump stands. But anyway, Harris sat down with CNN this week for a pre-recorded interview with running mate Tim Walz by her side. Many feel it was strange not doing a solo interview, but I think she showed incredible bravery. Mostly for showing up without a bat, considering all the softballs that were lobbed at her during this interview. Normally, a presidential candidate doing an interview would not be big news, but Harris's delay in doing one became a key Trump attack, which made the otherwise ordinary interview seem notable. The interview focused a lot on Harris's positions that have changed, and Harris did try to establish herself as a new way forward from the last decade of what has been contrary to where the spirit of our country really lies, which includes Biden. She also praised Biden, saying she agreed with him on most issues. So how does she cling to an old white man's legacy while also being a new way forward? Harris is now sharing more and more of her ideas. Her campaign is running a new ad highlighting her plan to build 3 million homes and reduce inflation.
We will end America's housing shortage by building 3 million new homes and rentals. We should be doing everything we can to make it more affordable to buy a home, not less.
Wait, so she wants to increase government spending while at the same time reducing inflation? That's like saying, I'm going to lose weight by drinking more dark beer and ice cream floats. Well, something else Harris proposes spending money on is the southern border. Harris says if elected president, she will spend hundreds of millions of dollars on the southern border wall. Harris once called the southern border wall un-American, and now she wants to make it stronger. Between this and, shall we generously say, adopting Trump's idea to end taxes on tips, should Harris become president, it seems Biden won't be the only one who bashed Trump while having lots of similar, if not outright identical policies. Lord have mercy on our eyes for the cursed mashup images that are yet to come. I feel like after those cursed images, we need a nice, dare I say, joyful palate cleanser. How about abortion? Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance says that Trump would veto a national abortion ban if presented with one as president.
Can you commit, Senator, sitting right here with me today, that if you and Donald Trump are elected, that you will not impose a federal ban on abortion?
I can absolutely commit that.
Vance says that Trump feels abortion should be a state issue, and the federal government shouldn't impose its will on such a sensitive topic. While this may upset many Republicans, it's a sound tactical move, as abortion has consistently been a losing issue for conservative candidates since Roe v. Wade was overturned. And many Republicans might bring up the religious aspect of abortion, but who would know more about religion than Donald Trump, the official face of the God Bless the USA Bible, the only Bible endorsed by former President Donald Trump? They should add abortion to the FAQ section of the website, right after the question, what if my Bible has sticky pages? And after the break, could Trump's classified documents case come back? Welcome back. Special counsel Jack Smith is appealing Judge Eileen Cannon's decision to throw out the Trump classified documents case. He's also filing a reworked indictment against Trump for his January 6th case, keeping the same 4 charges against the former president, but rewording it in light of the Supreme Court's limited presidential immunity ruling. Cannon, who was appointed by Trump, says the Justice Department lacked constitutional authority to appoint and fund special counsels. Jack Smith says this is undermining the Justice Department, explaining the district court's rationale would likewise raise questions about hundreds of appointments throughout the executive branch, including in the Departments of Defense, State, Treasury, and Labor. So this is more of a procedural dispute and not a disagreement over whether or not Trump did anything wrong. Trump can even be heard on audio admitting he knows the documents he held onto and showed off were classified.
Yeah. See, as president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't, but this is
classified. Now we have a problem.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's so cool.
So if this case gets reopened, it doesn't look too good for Trump. Then again, classified documents were also found in President Biden's private residence. But that special counsel chose not to charge him, citing his poor memory. What? Why, Biden's sharp as a spoon. Maybe all Trump has to do is pretend he has a failing memory and he can get off the hook. He might already be laying the groundwork for that, posting on Truth Social that the White House suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story in 2021 means the presidential election was rigged in 2020, when Trump was still in the White House. It would appear Trump has mixed up what Mark Zuckerberg said about the media and social media suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story in 2020 with what he said about the White House pressure to censor COVID misinformation in 2021. Are these the ravings of a dementia patient? Or Trump's signature 4D interdimensional chess? Well, speaking of presidential elections, Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced that since signing Senate Bill 1 in 2021, Texas has removed over 1 million ineligible voters from voter rolls, including people who have moved out of state, died, or are non-citizens. Which I think is blatant discrimination against zombies. They deserve to have their voices heard. Their wailing, raspy, haunting voices. Texas is trying to crack down on voter fraud. As part of that, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton raided the homes of League of United Latin American Citizens, or LULAC, members. Paxton says this is part of an investigation into concerns of non-citizens being illegally registered to vote. LULAC claims these searches were illegal and tantamount to voter suppression, and called on the Justice Department to launch a probe into this. The Justice Department confirmed receipt of the request, but hasn't responded officially yet. So for now, this is a he said argument. Hopefully this can be resolved soon, so there are no concerns about disenfranchisement after the election, especially from Latino zombies. Something else that will hopefully be settled soon is Democrats' lawsuit against two GOP-backed rules passed by the Georgia State Election Board. These rules allow election officials to perform what's called a reasonable inquiry before election results are certified, and let county election board members investigate ballot counts. Democrats say this could lead to chaos after the election, which I think is a bit ridiculous, since there's going to be chaos after the election no matter what. This is all because no one trusts the results. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe it's because Trump still claims the 2020 election was stolen from him, or how Hillary Clinton still thinks the 2016 election was stolen from her. So this election is going to be like a Super Bowl featuring the Philadelphia Eagles. No matter who's victorious, there's going to be chaos in the streets. And someone might get hit in the head with a battery. Because when Philly fans commit battery, they really commit battery. But we're just over a week away from the first Kamala Harris-Donald Trump debate. Maybe. Because Trump threatened to pull out of the September 10th ABC debate over an argument over whether or not mics should be muted when the other candidate is speaking. But he says he will participate after reaching an agreement to have the debate run under the same rules as the last CNN debate between Trump and Biden. The candidates have been bickering back and forth over the rules of the debate, how many debates there will be, where they'll be held, and even if there will be one held at all. Given how tired I am of this entire election cycle, I'd be in favor of muting the mics for both candidates, for the entire debate. Charade sounds like a much more fun way to explain your policy. Someone Harris wishes could have a muted mic when she debated her is former soldier, former Hawaii representative, and former Democrat Tulsi Gabbard. Footage of Tulsi criticizing Kamala Harris's record as the California Attorney General during the 2020 Democratic presidential primaries have been making the rounds on social media.
She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California.
Many say this exchange ended Harris's 2020 presidential bid. And now Tulsi Gabbard has endorsed Donald Trump for president, saying that he is more anti-war than Harris. Gabbard joins RFK Jr. as another former Democrat who has endorsed the Republican presidential candidate. While this seems like Democrats are abandoning a sinking ship, it's worth noting that a lot of Republicans aren't exactly fans of Donald Trump. Trump has a difficult time maintaining allies. Democrats have a lot of infighting within their party too, especially now over the Israel-Hamas war. And Republican infighting led to Kevin McCarthy being ousted as the Speaker of the House. This is because with only two major political parties, when you disagree with one, there's really not many other places you can go. Sure, you could go independent, but RFK Jr. tried that, and we see how far it got him. We need more choices, because it'd be nice to have more viable presidential options than the number of copies of the last Wu-Tang Clan album. Here's something I'd never hide from you. Another video I know you'll love. Well, YouTube's algorithm knows you'll love. They know you better than your mother, who you should call more often, by the way. The AI told me that. And America Uncovered wouldn't exist without your support. Click that orange button to support us on Patreon. All it takes is $1 per episode, and you can set a monthly limit. Once again, I'm Matt Gnezda. See you next time.